Chapter 921. The reality show with a surge in viewership. Lin Che and the crew went to National Winner. This show had been going on for many years. Clearly, it was indeed very popular. When she joined the show, it was inevitable that reporters would come to interview them. It was rare that these budget travelers were gathered together now, so many reporters rushed here. When they sat down together, it was as captivating as when they did the program together. Although Lin Che was no longer the goddess, she was naturally still a rose among the thorns as she sat in the middle of so many men. Everyone looked at the two fresh faces and asked them, "Won't you develop any feelings when you travel with Lin Che?" One of them looked at Lin Che and then said, "Actually, I wanted to respect her very much. But after seeing her pick up newspapers to stay warm and even throw dirty socks at others and steal their money, I realized that I've already lost my feelings for her." Everyone started to talk about Lin Che, bringing up embarrassing stories of her in their conversation. Lin Che knew that this was the result of the program, so she was not upset. Even during normal times, these friends would take jabs at one another for fun. Lin Che did not mind as she was not so petty. Everyone subsequently brought up Lin Che's image as a strong woman. The fresh face also mentioned that Lin Che's complexion was really admirable. She could still look so fair despite not washing her face for days. Lin Che huffed, "Insult me all you want, but can you not let the whole world know that?" The set burst into laughter. This week's episode of National Winner immediately became the most watched episode. The crew knew that many people watched this because it was about budget traveling. The episode was also very helpful as publicity for budget traveling. Sure enough, after the first week of broadcast, it immediately had top ratings and easily defeated the other traveling programs. The crew was very proud. Everyone was happy and they called Lin Che out to celebrate. Lin Che was also very happy. She did not expect this reality show to be a big victory. She immediately agreed very willingly. The crew chose a club that some big shots like to go to. Lin Che took Robey along. The moment she entered, the guys immediately carried her up. "Hey, the goddess is here." Lin Che was carried so high up that she exclaimed in shock, "Okay, okay. Put me down." They laughed and put Lin Che down. The director said, "People say that Lin Che is a lucky star and now we have proof. Our show is on fire and everyone can relax. We won't become arrogant, we'll definitely continue to pursue victory. Moving forward, we'll have a guest start every week to guarantee some freshness. We'll also add some more activities during our travels. For example, we'll split into groups and see which group gets to a place first. A little competition will be more engaging to the viewers." Everyone thought that this was very good. They raised their glasses and cheered enthusiastically. Robey looked at these men and said to Lin Che, "Thankfully, you are working with guys. I think it's much better to work with male artists. There isn't so much conflict. Furthermore, everyone looks after you." Lin Che thought the same. Perhaps men were indeed more generous than women. Robey said, "Oh, I still have to go check on Shui Yong at the set later. He's filming tonight." Lin Che smiled at her. "You've been really busy with Minmin not around recently." "It can't be helped. I wonder if Minmin can come out more often since it's been 3 months." "I don't think so. Mr. President is so protective of her. He definitely won't be at ease if she came back to work." Alright, Robey wanted to get some drinks so Lin Che accompanied her. It was an inevitable clash of enemies. The moment they stepped out, they saw Yang Lin with some other people. Yang Lin was very upset by the sudden popularity of Lin Che's recent show. Now that they actually crossed paths here, they could not avoid the sparks. Those eyes looked as though she wanted to eat Lin Che alive. She stared in Lin Che's direction as she stood still. Lin Che scoffed and walked over. Yang Lin grunted, "I wonder how much viewership you bought so that you could be on the show. You actually have the cheek to celebrate tonight." Lin Che stopped in her tracks and turned to look at Yang Ling. "Yang Ling Xin, just because you like to eat shit doesn't mean that everyone does. Who is faking viewership? Go ahead if you want to do that. See if the audience will take it." Robey said at the side, "Lin Che, forget it. Don't waste your energy on her. She probably ate it already so she thinks that it's tasty. We've never eaten it so we won't know how she feels. Let's go." Yang Lin looked at Abai and wanted to hit her. However, Dongzi was still by Lin Che's side. He grabbed hold of Yang Lin's hand and pushed her away. Yang Lin swayed. She looked at Dongzi and then at the two of them. She looked fiercely at Abai. You're just a tiny agent and you dare to talk like that about me. Who do you think you are? Just you wait. Lin Che could not be bothered with her. She pulled Abai away and left. When Yang Lin left, her hatred for Lin Che grew even more. However, she knew that she couldn't do anything to Lin Che for the time being. Thus, she vented her anger on the agent beside her. She scoffed and ordered, "Send someone to follow that Lin Bai. Keep me informed of everything." That night, Abai sent Lin Che home and rushed to Shui Yang. Shui Yang was filming at night. Some fans waited anxiously outside. Abai was concerned about this. She went in and said to Shui Yang, "Go take a photo with your fans later. It's so cold and there are so many girls outside waiting. What can we do?" Shui Yang also could not do anything about it. Young kids were too persistent. He nodded and agreed. Abai said, "Don't move. You need to wear more clothes. It's cold outside at night and you'll catch a cold easily like this. How can you work if you fall sick?" Abai took a coat and put it on him. Shui Yang looked at her petite face which was red from the cold. He smiled and reached out to touch her face. "You're talking about me. What about you? You don't behave like a rich princess at all. You even came all the way to take care of me. If your dad sees you like this, his heart will definitely ache." Abai said, "No way. My dad said that he hoped I could train a bit. Did you think I'm some pampered princess?" Yes, you're the most special princess." Shui Yang smiled as he took her out. Both of them did not notice that someone had already walked past them in the dark. Although the camera had no flash, the lens already captured it with a click. The next day, Lin Che woke up and got ready to visit Yu Minmin with Gu Jingze. Ever since Yu Minmin was pregnant, she was asked by the Gu family to stay with them as a guest. Lin Che helped Nianian prepare before they went out to meet Gu Jingze. Chapter 922. Gu Jingze said, "I will handle my own affairs." In the car, Lin Che said to Gu Jingze, "Mr. President must be preparing to announce the happy news now. It's been 3 months. Yeah, he should be. That is why we're having a gathering at home so that we can all celebrate." Lin Che and Gu Jingze also prepared a gift for Minmin's child. Seeing that Gu Jingze prepared something rather expensive, Lin Che decided to gift some clothes. She even took Nianian's baby clothes. It was an old wives' tale that a baby would grow healthily by wearing hand-me-downs. Lin Che also intentionally kept Nianian's old clothes which were all adorable and worn only a few times. She kept them in pristine condition and brought them with her now. At the Gu family's home, it was indeed lively. When Lin Che entered, she saw Yu Minmin who looked round her sitting there. Gu Jingming had really taken good care of her during this period. Gu Jingming stood beside her with a hand on her shoulder. When he saw Lin Che and Gu Jingze arrive, he put down his hand. "Wow, Minmin, you look great," Lin Che said. Yu Minmin smiled and said, "You're here. I was wondering when you'd arrive. I brought some baby clothes for you. Take a look." "Really? Let me see." Yu Minmin looked at the clothes that Lin Che took out. They were adorable and she quickly accepted them. She said to Lin Che, "They are so pretty. Did Nianian wear them when he was younger?" Lin Che said, "Yeah, when he wasn't such a troublemaker, he would wear anything I made him wear." Nianian looked at those cute clothes and was speechless. Lin Che said, "I even made Nianian wear Union's clothes before and he looked great. He looked like a little girl." Nianian's face darkened. Lin Che started scrolling through photos on her phone. See, we took photos of him." Nianian quickly tried to snatch the phone. "Mommy, how come I wasn't aware of this? If he had known, he would have definitely deleted them." Lin Che held her phone up high so that Nianian could not reach it. She grunted at Nianian, "Hee, I'm going to treasure this so that when you disobey me in the future, I'll show them to everyone." Nianian jumped with all his might but it was futile. He could only look at her phone silently. Sooner or later, he would delete those photos. They absolutely must be deleted. Lin Che had not talked to Yu Minmin in a long time. She had so much she wanted to chat about. Yu Minmin said, I saw the reality show. It's really not bad. You're indeed quite suited for reality shows. Alright, it's just to liven the show a little. I don't want to be a comedian. Don't worry, after this, you won't have to do other things consecutively. Also, if reality shows do well now, they can go on for years. Lin Che said, it's just that young Lin is so annoying. I don't know where she came from either. Exactly, it's so frustrating. Oh right, you must have gotten many gifts for this pregnancy. Hee, are you feeling rich yet? Lin Che narrowed her eyes and asked. Yu Minmin replied, relax, I haven't gotten as much as you. Her eyes shifted to Gu Jingming. His status was on the line, so they naturally couldn't accept gifts from outsiders. It was very strict in this aspect. They could only accept gifts from family. If outsiders gave clothes or just well wishes, they could accept them. Anything more expensive and they probably would not. Lin Che said, okay. It looks like you can't chase wealth and power at the same time. Tisk. Yeah, I'm still going to depend on you guys in the future. Really? Then you'd better serve this master of yours well. Lin Che raised her chin and looked at her. Then, she exclaimed, oh my, you're going to have a double chin. Idiot, don't mention it. Yu Minmin covered her face immediately. I feel like I can't face anyone now. I'm only 3 months pregnant and it already feels so fast. What's going to happen in the future? Lin Che said, but if you don't puke initially, you might become a little chubby. If you have morning sickness later, you might slim down. However, I believe that Mr. President feeds you so well that you probably won't be able to slim down. Yu Minmin looked at her sadly. Gu Jingming was indeed a little too concerned about her. He would accompany her for all 3 meals now and take her everywhere he went. All appointments that were far away were pushed back only because he did not want to tire her out. When he met guests in Glazed Tile Palace, she would be at the back resting. When he went out for meetings and work, she would also tag along. The parliament was also already used to seeing her in the parliament building, but Yu Minmin always felt rather embarrassed. At this moment, Gu Qigong and Mu Wanqing walked in together. After Lin Che knew about the Black Eagle incident, she always had a weird feeling whenever she saw Gu Qigong. However, Mu Wanqing indeed smiled more often now. She did not have the heart to disturb them. Gu Qigong looked at Gu Jingze. Jingze, you're here. I heard that you went to M Nation a few days ago. Gu Jingze looked up. Yes. Gu Jingming watched from the side. Not only did you go there, but I also heard you made quite a name for yourself. Gu Jingze said, they were rather arrogant, so I merely gave them a warning. Humph. Be careful not to go overboard and create trouble for yourself. A voice could be heard, accompanied by the sound of crutches. Gu Shand was here. Beside him were a few seniors of the Gu family. Until now, these relatives were still on his side, insisting on restoring the family's old traditions. However, they were helpless. The head of the family was a different person and Gu Jingze never liked to be controlled. Gu Jingze turned around. You're right, Grandpa, but the Gu family has our own power. When it's time to do something, we shouldn't let others climb over our heads, right? Gu Shan scoffed and looked at Gu Jingze. I'm talking about the Yun family. I am aware that when you were there, you didn't acknowledge the Yun family at all. I'm warning you not to fall out with the Yun family. If that happens, I'll see how you can still hold power in M Nation. If the Yun family teams up with M Nation to fight against our family, will you be able to fend them off? Gu Jingze stood proudly and unwavering. He looked plainly at Gu Shand. Grandfather, since I can do what I did, I can definitely fend them off as well. Very well, I'll wait and see how you're going to do that. Gu Shand scoffed and went inside. He glanced at Lin Che but did not say a word. Gu Qigong watched and shook his head. He walked to Gu Jingze and said, all right, it's time to eat. Oh right, I have something to ask you. Gu Jingze looked deeply at Gu Qigong. His eyes moved quietly before he nodded. Okay. Outside in the garden. Gu Qigong let the attendant retreat. Then, he looked at Gu Jingze, any updates on the thing I asked you to investigate? Chapter 923. You could care less about this matter. Gu Jingze remained silent as he looked down and poured some tea. Gu Qigong asked, "You did not do it, or were you not able to?" Sigh, "It's been many years actually. I know it's not easy, but I still hope you could do your best to help me with this." Gu Jingze continued remaining silent. Gu Qigong sighed, "Few people know about this. My guess is that it probably has to do with those who knew about it at that time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have vanished like this. Even if a stranger picked up this child, there would be a trace left behind. Now, there is no trace at all. He must have been wiped out. Enough, father." The vein beside Gu Jingze's ear twitched. He was trying so hard to control his emotions, but he could not take it any longer. He turned to Gu Qigong. "Father, if you could place this concern on mother, I'll probably be happier and be more willing to help you out. However, I'm really disappointed." Gu Qigong froze. Gu Jingze scoffed. He took out a photo and papers from his pocket and tossed them aside. "The information you want is here. I didn't dig it out. Instead, this person has already been beside us for a long time. It's just that you never realized. Because of the horrible things you did, you sent a young man into hysteria and he went around taking revenge. It's because of what you did that innocent Lin Che and your children are paying the price of your deeds now. Because of you, we're all on his revenge list. Are you satisfied now? You've found him, but it's a pity that he's finding you for revenge, and not to acknowledge you as his father." Gu Qigong's face fell. Gu Jingze's expression was already stiff as he walked towards him. Gu Qigong was frozen. Then, he looked down at the papers. The photo, the papers, the person was Mo Jingyan. He looked at the photo and his mind was immediately filled with the image of that tall man he met once. It was him. When Gu Jingze came back, he did not look so good. Lin Che noticed this and whispered to Yu Minmin, "I'm going to go check on him." Then, Lin Che quickly caught up with Gu Jingze, who was walking away. "Gu Jingze, are you okay? I need some time alone." Gu Jingze's voice was cold as he looked straight ahead. Lin Che was taken aback as she paused briefly, but she continued walking with him. "Gu Jingze, talk to me." Gu Jingze replied, "All right, go take a rest." "No, tell me what's going on." Gu Jingze ignored her and continued walking. Having long legs had its benefits. He quickened his pace so that she would have to jog a little to catch up with him. In her moment of fluster, she accidentally tripped and fell. "Ouch!" Lin Che yelped. Her knee hurt. Gu Jingze froze. He turned around and saw that Lin Che was on the ground. His mind became a mess and he hurried back to her. He hoisted Lin Che up and inspected her. "What happened? Let me see." "My knee." Lin Che frowned as she felt pain in her knee. Gu Jingze quickly made her sit down and carefully rolled up her pants. There was a gash on her knee. Blood trickled down and it looked like some dirt got into the wound. "It's a little dirty. Don't move." Gu Jingze frowned and hastily grabbed her knee. He gently sucked on the wound. "Hey, you," Lin Che was extremely surprised. She looked around her wildly. It hurt so much that she forgot. He sucked up the blood and spit it out at the side. Then, he repeated it. Lin Che was so shocked yet moved at the same time. She looked at him and said endearingly, "Gu Jingze, why are you so good to me?" Gu Jingze froze. Because this situation had to happen to this idiot at such timing, it took him by surprise. He looked at her mockingly. "Because you're so stupid. If I don't treat you well, you might kill yourself one day." He had one knee on the ground. Because of this, she did not feel angry at all. Instead, she tilted her head and smiled adoringly. She really felt as if she could not live without him now. She was so pampered by him that she felt as if she would be incapacitated without him. What was more important was that she believed that there was no other man on earth that could treat her as well as Gu Jingze did. She thought that people said she did not deserve Gu Jingze because of her background. She felt that she did not deserve Gu Jingze probably because he was such a good man and she was such a willful wife. She had not done half the things he had. She really did not know why she was the apple of his eye. She had nothing. How could she be the recipient of his love? It was all the more why she wanted to treat him well. She wanted to give him everything. She placed her hands on his shoulders and looked at him. Gu Jingze, so you must tell me what happened. Let me be of some use as your wife, okay? Gu Jingze gazed at deeply. His eyes looked directly into hers. He thought that no man could probably reject those eyes of hers. He always thought that her eyes were exceptionally pretty. When he first started having feelings for her, it was not because of that pretty face of hers. It was because of those crystal clear eyes. No matter what happened, those eyes never changed. He looked at her and sighed helplessly. I just talked to father about Black Eagle. Ah, what did father say? I didn't give him a chance to speak. He must have been shocked himself. Gu Jingze said, come on, let's go get your wound cleaned. As he spoke, he carried Lin Che in his arms. Lin Che was not done with her questions. She put her arms around his neck and asked, so what now? I don't know. Gu Jingze looked ahead. His eyes were cold. Lin Che sighed and looked at him. Silly, you've done what you could. All of this is not your responsibility. You didn't do it. Whoever did it will bear the responsibility. It's up to the two of them now. You don't have to do anything. Gu Jingze looked down at her. Lin Che said, no matter what, you can care less about this. Gu Jingze heard this and hesitated. Then, he indeed felt a lot better. This magical woman could influence anyone to adopt that easygoing attitude of hers. Furthermore, she did not think that there was anything wrong with her logic. In the distance, Gu Qigong wanted to approach them but Mu Wanqing stopped him. It's okay. With Lin Che around, Jingze will be fine. Anyway, don't bother about this anymore. But what were you two talking about just now? Why is he so angry? Gu Qigong looked at her and his eyes shifted. Somehow, he felt guilty. Chapter 924. The nation celebrated Yu Minmin's pregnancy. Gu Jingze and Lin Che returned to their room. By Ji Yushan's side, the few of them gathered in an anxiety-filled room. See how Jingze dotes on that Lin Che so much. It will become his undoing sooner or later, one relative said. Exactly. I don't know what exactly this Lin Che has that can keep him wrapped around her finger. Some maids were talking outside about how Jingze actually knelt down to suck her blood, another relative chimed in. The eldest son's wife, Yu Minmin, is clearly better than her. She keeps such a low profile and rarely shows herself. What can we do about it, then? It's going to be the same in the future and she'll be the headmistress. When that time comes, I think crying wolf might happen again. Everyone talked about how they were not happy about Lin Che's performance. Ji Yushan did not talk. He sat there as the tobacco burned and listened to everyone's complaints. Since it is Jingze's own choice, we must accept it. Even if so, we can't possibly watch Jingze spiral downward like this, a relative said. Then what do you say we do about this? How can she become the headmistress like this? So many people within the clan have no faith in her. Not even the maids believe that she can do it. Since this is the case, it's easier for us. We don't agree with her becoming headmistress and the maids object too. Even if Jingze wishes to support her, it might not be successful. After Gu Jingming and Yu Minmin returned to the Gu household that day, they made an announcement at Glazed Tile Palace. Madam President was pregnant and Mr. President was preparing to welcome his firstborn child. The whole country was jubilant. On one hand, broken-hearted ladies expressed that they also wanted to bear children for Mr. President. On the other hand, they were also elated that Gu Jingming was finally going to be a father. The C nationals were also very creative and could make anything marketable. Immediately, some online shops started announcing that they would hold sales on the day Madam President gives birth. Some others immediately started selling whatever pregnancy and baby products that Madam President used. However, many were actually fake. Yu Minmin knew that most of the things she had were custom-made to deter knockoffs. The entire nation speculated over the gender of Madam President's child. Some websites took photos of Yu Minmin outside. She was barefaced and had obvious swelling. However, she looked so grand when she went out. Her belly was defined and looked healthy. Thus, everyone said that she was probably having a boy. Yu Minmin looked at these speculations at home and thought to herself speechlessly. These people really knew how to stir things up. Some websites actually held bets and whoever guessed correctly would win a prize. On another side, News about Shui Yong was leaked at the same time as Yu Minmin's news. The gossip papers said, it's double happiness in Lin Che's office. One is their boss, Yu Minmin's pregnancy. The other is Shui Yong, who is coupled with an agent. Just take a look at the photo. Look at how intimate Shui Yong and the agent are together. The photo revealed Shui Yong and Abai together. Shui Yong was holding Abai's face. Shui Yong was putting a cap on her lovingly. Shui Yong held a lunchbox for her. Shui Yong held a cup of water for her. The internet exploded. Fresh-faced Shui Yong was actually a couple with an agent. Really? However, this caused many fans to feel disgusted. This slut stays close to Shui Yong so that she could attract him. What a leech. This is disgusting. How can she let a celebrity take care of her? Is she an agent or is she a princess? She thinks too highly of herself. We don't believe that Shui Yong would fall for a woman like this. She's just a small agent. How dare she taint our idol? Who does she think she is? Shui Yong, don't fall into her trap. You must have been brainwashed. Everyone insulted Abai. They dug for Abai's dirt, saying that Abai looked arrogant and not like a decent woman at all. Some even dug out photos from when Abai first came to C Nation. At that time, she was simply a little girl dressed up. It made people say that she was a wannabe country bumpkin who came from some unknown village. There were many menacing comments and objections. Some fans even contacted the company directly, asking the company to switch out Shui Yang's agent. They objected violently to Shui Yong working with such a devious agent. At the company, everyone at the company barely had time to react. Abai was angry as she looked at the ugly words directed at her. She only hated how she could not refute them directly. Lin Che was also at the company. She saw the reports and said speechlessly, "This kind of bad report is clearly done on purpose. They're obviously attacking us." Abai asked, "Was it me who offended someone? Or was it Shui Yong who offended someone?" Lin Che looked at Ah Che. "I believe it is being directed more at you." Abai said, "Damn it, it's not like I fine. I may be a little offensive usually, but that's part of being an agent." Shui Yong stood at the side and was also looking at the comments. He felt extremely guilty. "Abai, this is all my fault." Abai turned around and said, "This has nothing to do with you. These people have nothing better to do than to take some photos so that they can attack us." However, Shui Yong still could not watch her get insulted so terribly. He sighed, took a cigarette from his pocket, and stepped out to smoke. Lin Che said, "Sigh. Seriously, he has not experienced anything like this ever since he debuted. Male artists don't usually have bad fans, and this is especially so for a fresh face like him. Naturally, he can't really control his emotions right now. Go comfort him later." Lin Che was right about this. Shui Yong was still filled with guilt. Thus, he took out his phone and thought for a long time. He published a post on Weibo to say, "Don't insult Abai. If you want, come insult me instead." The moment this got out, it captured a lot of attention. There were already many people watching his Weibo. The moment they saw this, things immediately escalated. What did this mean? Was he admitting it? By the time people in the company realized this, the comments had already surged to thousands in mere minutes. The company's staff were taken aback. Shui Yong posted this, right? He wasn't hacked. It must be him. Quick, find him. Shui Yong was still standing outside when Lin Che quickly hurried out the moment she heard it from Abai. "Shui Yong, what are you doing?" Shui Yong turned around, looking rather troubled. Abai quickly snatched his phone and deleted the post on his Weibo. "Shui Yong, are you out of your mind?" Shui Yong looked at Abai. "As a man, how can I watch a woman get insulted because of me?" They were going overboard with the insults. Insults like slut, bitch, and every other possible slur was already used. This made Shui Yong very upset. Chapter 925. Shui Yong was suddenly of great stature. Abai looked at Shui Yong. Although he was still considered young, rash, and did not even stick to one pattern, he made Abai feel very happy. Abai said, "Forget it. Anyway, they just want to vent their frustrations. I don't really get angry because if I get angry just from this, then wouldn't Lin Che be fuming? She did not receive any less hate." Shui Yong looked at Abai. But this incident started because of me. I think I need to stand up and let everyone know you were helping me. We are friends and partners, not the uncouth relationship they think we have. When did Abai purposely approach him? What seduction was there? He already felt very annoyed after looking at all those messages. Just then, Abai said, "All right, idiot. These companies have legal departments and public relations departments, right? We can do this slowly. Don't be a mess because Minmin is not here now. There will definitely be a way to solve this problem." Lin Che also said, "That's right. This is the first challenge faced by the company after Minmin took a break. Everyone, let's cheer up and fight this battle well. We are one company, one team, one family. This is a test to our teamwork." The company firstly gathered some internet ghostwriters and asked where these ghostwriters were bought and then thought about who was buying the internet ghostwriters to bash the company. Afterward, they checked the comments on the internet. The conspiracies seemed to be already brewing. Someone said, Abai always gave Shui Yong dramas and films when she could get away to stick with him. Furthermore, Shui Yong did not have any other friends usually, so whenever he went out, he would bring Abai because Abai was definitely trying to separate him from others. Other people said that Abai already had the thought of having him alone a long time ago. Furthermore, Abai was an ambitious person. Not only did she rely on him to earn money, but as a small manager, she lived in a big mansion in the wealthy area in C Nation. Furthermore, she usually drove luxury cars that were definitely gifted by Shui Yong, or she withheld Shui Yang's money normally. Although the netizens dug pretty deep to find out what Abai did normally, where she went, where she lived, what brand she wore, and what type of car she drove, they could unfortunately not dig any further. The company quickly found out that the internet ghostwriters were hired by a place called the Chinchin Film Management Company. And there was one artist under this company that they were all familiar with, that was Yang Lin. Lin Che said, Abai scolded Yang Lin that day. I reckon, Yang Lin began to hate her since that day, so she prepared to hit back at Abai. Shui Yang's face was stern. He sat there, hands slowly curled into a fist. Lin Che said, since we know who it is, we will have an easier time dealing with it. Yang Lin has so many dark histories herself. How dare she hit back at us, humph. Lin Che immediately asked people to prepare to dig out Yang Lin's past. Firstly, they exposed a few of Yang Lin's plastic surgery photos. Yang Lin did undergo plastic surgery. Furthermore, some places were obviously amended based on Lin Che. Once the photos were released, many fans started scolding Yang Lin, saying how Yang Lin was very ugly and normal like a passerby in the past, and could not believe she actually became like this. Afterward, there was more information leaked online that said Yang Lin's background was problematic. Her portfolio was suspected to be falsely created. She said she graduated from Fafo Girls University, but there was one from the school who said she was their batchmate, as if no one had ever seen her there. When Yang Lin saw the news, she was still at the film set. She looked at the news, crossing her legs, her expression cold. Just then, her assistant quickly ran over and told her, Sister Lin, it seemed like Lin Che called you. Yang Lin's expression froze and she raised her head, taking over the phone. I can't believe Sister Che would call me. How surprising, Yang Lin said with a weird tone. Lin Che scoffed. You should already know I will call you. I don't know what you are talking about. Yang Lin was not so dumb that she would reveal anything through the call. Lin Che said, you just need to understand yourself whether you know it or not. I just wanted to say, everyone has dark spots in their past. If we dig it up together, we will have to see which dark spot will make someone fall in the end. Yang Lin laughed. Sister Che, plastic surgery and fake identities are not huge matters in this industry. However, if an artist got together with the manager, then they will lose a lot of fans. If you want to continue playing, that's fine. Let me tell you, I am not afraid. Ha, really? Alright, don't you regret it? Lin Che coolly said. Yang Lin said, if you really have a way to deal with me, you will not call me to make peace with me. Didn't you come and threaten me because you have no qualms against me? Fine, let us continue. I also want to see if you lose more or I lose more. Lin Che hung up the phone while ordering people at the side. Okay, release the photos that made Yang Lin look like she was in prison before. Yes. The staff was very efficient. After no time at all, Yang Lin's photos in the prison were spread out. Even though Yang Lin was angry, her company was frightened and wanted her to stop. Yang Lin did not agree. She threw all the things on her table in her room. Looking at the messy office, she gritted her teeth and said, "Okay, in the next wave, let us trigger this damn Shui Yang. Go, didn't you snap photos of Shui Yang and Abai staying together in her hotel room for a few hours?" That photo was when after they filmed, Shui Yang went back to his room and his manager went in and stayed for a few hours. When a man and woman stayed together, it was hard to not think about the wrong things. After the photos were released, people immediately felt that Shui Yang had something with the manager. Some people started scolding Shui Yang, saying how he had no standards and would even go for the women around him. The image of a young and handsome man was just packaging. Yang Lin felt ecstatic looking at the lashing against Shui Yang. Just then, Shui Yang was heading out with Abai. Just as they reached the airport, they were surrounded by people from nowhere. Some people directly faced Abai and threw eggs at her. Trash. Vixen. Bastards. You still dared to come out after screwing around. Shui Yang froze and immediately went to protect Abai. The eggs were all thrown onto him. Abai was shocked. Looking at Shui Yang, although his shoulders were not so wide, his image suddenly felt tall. Abai bit down on her lips and could not tolerate it anymore. "Stop it, if you dare to spout rubbish, I will pull out your teeth out myself." Although Lin Che had a plan, Abai could not tolerate them throwing eggs at Shui Yang and even lash out at Shui Yang. Chapter 926, Shui Yang actually hit someone. Ha, a slut is a slut, hiding behind Shui Yang arrogantly. Did you crawl to Shui Yang's side because you were bashed by netizens? Shui Yang, how can you do this sort of woman? You disappointed us so much. A whole group of people yelled angrily at the two people. However, regardless of how angry they were, true fans would not be like this. These people were obviously hired here. Abai looked at the people at the front with frustration. Just then, the company and the airport's security rushed over and sent the people to the police. Shui Yang turned back and looked at Abai, gently removing the egg on her. Abai, let's go, I'll bring you to clean up. Abai patted herself. It's fine, it's just a little bit of egg. Can it even hurt me? Let's go. But Shui Yang felt extremely angry. That afternoon, Yang Lin was still at the film set. Upon looking at how Abai and Shui Yang were hit by eggs in the news, Yang Lin laughed until she was almost out of breath. The filming ended at the set. Yang Lin took her stuff and prepared to leave. However, just as she reached the door, a figure came in front of her. Before Yang Lin could react, his fist was on her. Yang Lin froze. Her face was just hit, right smack on her nose bridge. Her artificial nose bridge was now as flat as ever. She immediately covered her face and looked up at the man in front of her. It was actually Shui Yang. Shui Yang, you. Someone come. I got hit, call the police. Someone is going to violate me. Yang Lin turned and ran into the set, screaming. Outside, Shui Yang was immediately pressed down by several people. At the company, Abai and Lin Che were still watching the news. Abai said, I almost couldn't tolerate it, but I remembered you still had a plan, so I forced myself down. I also didn't think that this Yang Lin would purposely shame you to make herself happy. Yes, I know, so I don't care. We can hit back at her together later. Alright, go and find Shui Yang. Comfort him and don't make him anxious. I don't know how you tolerated it in the past. I understand that you must be famous for someone to hate on you. Compared to when I was unknown, I think there must be some form of sacrifice, so I need to bear with it and not let the entire team worry about me. Alright, you are truly a good girl. Right. However, they did not manage to find Shui Yang when they went out. Abai was going to ask where exactly Shui Yang went. Unexpectedly, her phone rang just then. You are Shui Yang's manager, right? Shui Yang is in the police station now. Shui Yang attacked someone, so he was at the police station. Yang Lin immediately went to the hospital and refused to see anyone. She threw a tantrum and said she would let Shui Yang go to prison and she would not be willing to take things lying down. Her newly fixed nose was actually hit broken until she had to fix it again. She could not see anyone for at least a lot more days. She was, of course, fuming when she saw her ruined face. Just then, Robey and Lin Che also arrived at the police station. There were a lot of reporters following outside, so it seemed like they already knew about it. Because Shui Yang was a celebrity, the police also gave him special treatment and allowed him to stay alone. Celebrities also cannot hit anyone at will. Look, what a fuss he caused, the police said while bringing the two women in. Although he said that, the police still carefully looked at the rarely seen Lin Che and exclaimed internally how beautiful celebrities looked, even in real life. Upon entering, Shui Yang sat there and watched the two people enter. He looked up, his stubborn face showing some remorse. I'm sorry, Sister Che. He did not regret hitting her because that young Lin deserved a beating, but he was remorseful about betraying Lin Che's trust and grooming. He said, I know that I only have the status and popularity I have today because Sister Che saw potential in me and promoted me. Now that I am in the police station for hitting someone, if the television channel and commercial companies are going to blacklist me, my future will be gone, so it is reasonable if the company is going to abandon me. I will not say anything. Robey immediately looked up at Lin Che at the side. Lin Che sighed and said, silly boy, what are you saying? All people have emotions. It is normal for you to have emotions too. After all, he was still at the age when he was vigorous and active, and the other party had gone overboard. Lin Che said, young Lin was purposely trying to anger you so that you would make mistakes when you're upset. However, she did not know about one thing. What thing? Shui Yang looked up. She did not know that Robey is not any girl from a village. Lin Che looked at Robey and said, just you wait. We will fight the comeback fight earlier. I heard, Shui Yang, that you made her nose crooked, right? Yes. She doesn't need to think about future commercials. I want photos of her crooked nose to be all over the internet. Lin Che said. Robey asked, how do we take a photo of it? She will definitely defend to death so that no one can film her. Lin Che told Dongzi who was behind her, Dongzi, find someone to film it. Dongzi nodded. Yes, miss. Dongzi left the room. Lin Che said, ordinary people cannot film it. But she doesn't know that my personal guards are not ordinary people. Lin Che looked at Robey. Young Lin initially followed me for a while. Unfortunately, I did not have personal guards then and didn't let her get in touch with the Gu family guards, so she does not know these people are not just security guards. She will also not know that you, Robey, are from the Wesley family. She really offended the wrong people. Robey laughed. I also tolerated her for very long. If I have the chance, I want to hit her face properly. Lin Che said, Shui Yang, you need to have the correct attitude when admitting to mistakes. Since you have already caused a ruckus, we will deal with it one by one. Do not hide. People nowadays like people who are honest. As a man, you have neither stolen nor robbed, but only stood up for your friend. It is a scandal, but it is not so bad that you cannot make a comeback. Straighten up your back and admit to your mistakes, you hear me? Shui Yang looked at Lin Che and Robey. Yes, I will admit to my mistakes. Lin Che said, our company will not anyhow abandon people. We are not like other companies that only care about profit. You are the company's artists, but also our friend. Our company will not lose a single one of you. Shui Yang looked at Lin Che and suddenly felt moved and grateful. He thought he was extremely lucky to know such a bunch of people. If he did not know them, he would not know that there was another way to live his life. He would also not know that he could have a comeback one day and that he could support himself and step away from his past life. Thus, he always worked very hard, so that he could live up to this opportunity. But because it was Robey who always accompanied him, he admitted that he did lose control. Robey treated him so well, but he could only watch them harm her, so he could not tolerate it any further. Chapter 927. Robey's identity is not the way they think. That day, Dongzi ordered someone to secretly enter the room, take a photo when Yang Lin was sleeping of her twisted facial features. From the top, one could directly see the twisted additional parts. When Yang Lin woke up, she thought the room felt wrong. She immediately called the doctor and nurse over and angrily asked, "Did someone come into my room?" The doctor and nurse immediately said, "Impossible. The people outside are all your people, miss. Even a fly couldn't fly in." Yang Lin scoffed, "You have all signed a non-disclosure agreement. If my look spreads, you shall all be fired." The doctor and nurse were at a loss, but they had no choice. "Don't worry, our hospital definitely practices professionalism. But I still feel like the room is weird." Her suspicious look made the doctor feel repulsed. He could not help but think that she was guilty because she had bad plastic surgery, so of course, she was afraid of people seeing her. "Miss, no one can enter through the door and you also didn't leave this room. This is the 14th floor. No one can fall from the sky." Yang Lin agreed, but she never knew that someone could actually fall from the sky. Dongzi's people jumped right inside from the 15th floor. To them, it was a simple task. However, that afternoon, someone released a report, saying that after Yang Lin got beaten up, the truth about her plastic surgery could not be hidden. The artificial parts were twisted after being hit and her face looked horrendous. Afterward, Yang Lin's photos were directly released. When Yang Lin's side received the news, it could not be contained. Everyone was shocked after looking at Yang Lin. How can Yang Lin be so ugly? This is so scary. Plastic surgery is so scary. Is it not painful inserting such a huge artificial part? Ah, it's man-made. But I saw her photo previously. She looked like a common person and cannot be a star. She still doesn't admit her plastic surgery. This photo is too horrifying. That day, there were commercial companies that quickly went to find Yang Lin and told her that her beauty advertisements could not be released. They said it in an indirect way, but they still meant that they did not want to work with her anymore. Yang Lin lost a lot of advertising opportunities immediately. She immediately went to whine, saying that someone was targeting her. She was beaten up and received no empathy nor any condolences, while the one who beat her, Shui Yang, was bailed out. How unfair. Just then, Shui Yang started a news conference. This was considered a news conference to publicly apologize. He was stoic when he appeared on the conference. There were a lot of reporters at the venue, surrounding the entire place. Shui Yang bowed to everyone and said, "I am very sorry. As a public figure, I displayed negative influences to my young audiences. I am sincerely apologetic about my bad actions. This incident was indeed my fault. I will hence take up the legal responsibilities and moral questionings. I will work hard and do charity work to make up for my mistake this time. Even if I cannot make up for it, I hope to let everyone see my diligence in admitting my mistake." But her gaze gradually raised up and said to everyone, "I am very regretful of my extreme actions to vent my anger, but the other party spread rumors previously. Because our company's shows clashed at the same broadcast slot, she hated my manager, my friend, and my dear partner, so she purposely hurt her. We have already found evidence that the internet ghostwriters were hired by the other party. She accused my friend and me that we had a special relationship. Accusing a girl and attacking her with such nasty words made me feel unbearable. I cannot watch people around me get hurt because of me while I can't do anything. Hence, I went against the expectations for me by my company and hit someone. But I really felt angry when she hired people to throw eggs at me and my manager, so I made a rash decision. I want to tell the other party. I will be responsible for hitting you, but we will also take legal actions against your ill-willed actions towards us." After finishing, Shui Yang bowed and left. The reporter's flashlight shined non-stop. Shui Yang did not smile the whole time, but his last words were firm and powerful. The netizens had a good impression of him. Furthermore, because he stood up for his own people, everyone thought he was just a person who did not care about his own interest to help his friends. Even though it was illegal, everyone thought it was good. And as for Yang Lin, she was being hated on because of the pictures of the failed plastic surgery. She was currently whining and crying, saying how she was the victim. They actually thought what Shui Yang said was more convincing and logical. Just then, someone on the internet exposed Abai and Shui Yang's relationship. A verified account on Weibo said, after looking at what others posted in the past about Abai had a dark past, about how Abai used Shui Yang to earn money, about how Abai lived a luxurious lifestyle, they realized everyone had misunderstood. Abai did not use Shui Yang to earn a single cent. Furthermore, Abai did not even receive a single bit of remuneration from Shuiyang because Abai did not need it. Abai's surname was not Lin and her nationality was also not a citizen of C Nation. Her real name was Abigail Wesley. She was the youngest daughter of the famous Wesley family. She met Lin Che overseas and really liked C Nation, so she helped out at Lin Che's office when she came to C Nation. All her mansions, luxury cars, and clothes belonged to her. Everyone was curious, so they went to search up on the Wesley family. They then realized the Wesleys were an internationally well-known oil tycoon, one of the top 10 in the wealthiest ranking, so they were definitely very rich. Abai was not an exotic girl from Ming village. She was a true international socialite. After seeing how she was actually so high class, when they looked at her exotic photos in the past, they did not look so weird anymore. Because they were outfits of some young girls in the United States with a little Latin influence, it did not look so bad. The netizens' thoughts changed really quickly. A rich person would look like a rich person no matter what they wore, but a poor person would be hated on even if they wore golden clothes. The world was just so unfair and hence, Lin Che's office made use of this point. Now, everyone thought that Abai and Shuiyang were not incompatible. So what if an international socialite and a local young, handsome star got together? Shuiyang's fans also thought that if Shuiyang really had a girlfriend like that, his future would be good too. At the other end, Yang Lin was going crazy with anger. She looked at the reporter on the so-called Wesley family with a look of disbelief. That little girl was a socialite. She could not tell at all. Furthermore, why would a socialite be willing to be someone's manager? Her people were mumbling at the side, why does this Lin Che always have powerful people around her? Yu Minmin is Madam President and now, even a small manager has such a solid background. Alright you guys, if you are so jealous of her, just go to her office. I'll see if she will deal with trash like you. Yang Lin angrily yelled here. Chapter 928. Solving things will do. Everyone already realized by now. Indeed, when Shuiyang and Abai's news were exposed, Yang Lin's scandals were also released at the same time. Everyone saw that both sides' negative news were released in turns. It was obvious that the two parties were at a face-off. Shuiyang's explanation was right. It was true that the two parties had some conflicts. He hit someone because of these conflicts as well. The netizens were discussing, I think Shuiyang is a real man who takes up the burden of the mistakes to protect his own people. Someone said, Shuiyang is so pitiful. He got hit by eggs. The report on the egg-throwing incident said that he directly shielded his manager and used his body to protect his manager from the eggs. He is so manly. I always thought that people who protect those around them are good. It shows that they are more than just partners with common interests. Everyone is willing to sacrifice themselves for others. Of course, some stood with Shuiyang, but others stood with the other party. Someone said that Shuiyang still hit someone and the other party was a woman, so he should not hit others no matter what happened. Although this was immediately refuted by others who said they were just too forgiving to all people. Because the other side was a woman, they could throw eggs at you, but you were not even allowed to hit back. Someone even said, Shuiyang is indeed in the wrong because he should not hit people. All these fake benevolent people should stop reprimanding him. An eye for an eye, he should throw poop at her. Yes, this sort of woman should just eat shit. She deserved the beating. Although both sides were in the wrong, somehow I have a better impression of Shuiyang. Look at how many dark spots Yang Lin have and then look at Shuiyang. Other than hitting someone this time, he worked hard filming and had no negative news at all. Only this time, because the other side touched his people, he hit them back. Thus, I think I still like Shuiyang. Yang Lin's side already knew it was impossible to control the situation now. The best way was to let Yang Lin not to appear in public for now. She could not face the public now anyways. Her nose was in such a state she definitely had to take a break for a while. Afterward, Yang Lin resigned from the reality show, Let's Travel Together. Although Yang Lin was fuming, at this time, the company would never let her out to cause a ruckus. In retrospect, Yang Lin thought Lin Che purposely let her throw a tantrum and didn't release Abai's real identity just to expose it all one day so that she would have to slap herself in the face. This Lin Che was too evil. If Shui Yang did not hit her in the midst of all these, she would really be done for this time. Although even now, Yang Lin attracted more haters than Shui Yang. There were overwhelmingly more supporters of Shui Yang, but at least Yang Lin still stood on the moral high ground because after all, it was Shui Yang who hit her. At the company, Shui Yang left and said to Lin Che, "Then, Sister Lin, I'll be going." Lin Che said, "All right, go back home and rest for a few days. You'll still have to return to work." Although some people did not dare to randomly use artists that had dark spots in their history, Shui Yang's manager was Abai. After knowing Abai was actually someone from the Wesley family, they became more daring and thought, so what if Shui Yang had some history? Could people even buy connections to the Wesley family? Therefore Shui Yang's work would still continue. Shui Yang smiled. Yes. After he left, he saw Abai following him out. He said, "I'll go back. You rest well too." Abai looked at him and said, "Idiot, don't go and beat someone up for me next time." Shui Yang looked back. "Idiot, you are one of my people. How can I watch you get bullied?" Abai gently smiled and looked at this big boy. Although he seemed to be unable to grow up, she still felt that his body suddenly became so wide. After dealing with the company's matters for a few days, Lin Che was extremely tired. After she left, Gu Jingze came to fetch her. Upon watching her lean down, Gu Jingze turned his head to the side and asked, "What happened? Are you too tired?" Lin Che said, "I'm all right, just that things are finally resolved, so I suddenly felt a little tired." Gu Jingze patted her hand. "Let's go. When we get home, I'll massage you a little, all right?" "Really? Okay, you'll have to keep your promise." Gu Jingze smiled, gathered her in his arms, and asked the chauffeur to drive. Upon reaching home, the maid said that the old mansion sent a few new servants over to help take care of the young master. Gu Jingze pulled Lin Che into the room. Lin Che asked confusedly, "Why did they send people over at this time?" Gu Jingze narrowed his eyes and promptly entered with Lin Che. The servants had changed into the clothes for the household. Upon seeing the two of them enter, they bowed and said in unison, "Sir, Madam." Gu Jingze scanned through the few people. "Who sent you over?" The one who stood the most forward in the bunch of people said, "Sir, it was Mam Mu who chose us." Gu Jingze turned back to call Mu Wanqing and asked, "Mother, you sent people over to take care of Nianian." Mu Wanqing immediately said, "It's your grandfather who said that even though you have one more person there, you did not add any servants. So I thought he was right and went to pick some for you." Gu Shand. Gu Jingze said, "I understand." Lin Che was listening at the side while looking at Gu Jingze's cold gaze and she understood. She turned back and looked at the few people, and told Gu Jingze, "Since it was Mom who personally picked these people, we will just leave them here." Gu Jingze held her. "All right, I'll let you watch over them. If they are problematic, don't give them to Nianian." "Yes, I understand." Lin Che looked at the people and asked Gu Jingze, "Are they trained from the same place?" "Yes, they are all trained by the Gu family's clansmen." "But we haven't had new people here for a long time." "Yes, those who can remain here initially were already the cream of the crop. After staying, they would not easily make mistakes and leave." Lin Che thought and agreed. The people here did not change these past few years and they all treated her well. These people were not reprimanded by Gu Jingze under his surveillance, so they were definitely very careful. If not, with his high expectations, how could he let people who did not make the mark stay around him? Lin Che turned back and told the few people, "All right, since you are here, just stay here and learn from others first. Gu house and old mansion is still a little different." She casually left the people to deal with it. These people still needed to be observed to determine whether they could stay. The newcomers and older people began to work. They were separated to work for different things. Afterward, some newcomers realized this place was a little different from their training. The smart ones knew but did not ask. Those less sharp were a little curious. Especially during the training, it was important to let the family eat all 3 meals on time so that they would be healthy, but Lin Che often did not eat meals on time. Sometimes she would ask for supper at midnight and would suddenly ask the people in the kitchen to make something, but she would not wake up to eat in the morning. They saw Gu Jingze indulging Lin Che every day. When he woke up and saw Lin Che sleeping in the morning, he would not wake her up nor let anyone disturb her. He would come out for breakfast first, then ask the servant to ask the chef to prepare a new set after Madame woke up, and to make the breakfast after asking what she wanted to eat. Chapter 929. The servants thought Lin Che was too insensible. Every morning, Gu Jingze would be already eating breakfast at 6. He would read the newspaper and then head off to work while Lin Che slept until whenever she wanted to. Even after the young master had left, she did not wake up. When it was almost 10, she would happily come out to eat some food, then leave the house and disappear somewhere. Whenever the two of them were at home together, they would cuddle close together and the servants would sensibly leave the room. Gu Jingze never hid his love for Lin Che away from the crowd. When the servants were around, Gu Jingze also indulged in Lin Che. He would actually pick the food for her, play around with her, carry her around the house, and massage Lin Che's back and hips. The newcomers said to some older people privately, "Madam is so blissful usually." The older people smiled at the newcomers with a look of pride. Of course, Madam and Sir have a great relationship. Even after so many years, they are still in their honeymoon phase. The newcomer said, "I also think that Sir is too good to Madam. Madam wakes up so late in the morning, eats whatever she wants to, and drinks whatever she wants to." The older person looked strangely at the newcomer. "That is Madam. Of course, she can do whatever she wants." They were here for a long time, so they naturally knew the fact that Sir indulged Madam with so much love also came gradually. Initially, they also had fights, but afterward, Madam completely conquered Sir. Furthermore, they all thought that Madam was such a good person. Thus, they were completely loyal to Lin Che. However, these newcomers from outside were not loyal to Lin Che. They were trained by the Gu family, so they were loyal to the Gu family and not any specific person. A few of the newcomers began to chat privately about their observations these past few days and how they thought Sir had indulged Madam too much. "You haven't seen how Sir carried the water Madam used to wash her feet. Sir even piggybacked Madam up the stairs. I have never seen any household adopt such an ugly dog, but I heard that Madam wanted to adopt it. A mongrel that ate until it was so fat living in the house. If outsiders knew, they would definitely laugh at him. Furthermore, as the wife, when her husband leaves the house, she doesn't even send him off. Every day she will sleep until almost noon. Her husband is working hard while she is enjoying herself in the house. How ill-mannered she is. Anyways, I heard Madam was from a rural place and so she does not have many manners. She is completely lawless in the household because Sir treats her so well." The new servants were originally trained by the Gu family and did not know Lin Che since the start, so they did not have a good first impression of Lin Che. Afterward, no matter what Lin Che did, they thought that it was not good. Lin Che and Shen Yoren were preparing to found the company. After settling the company brand and the location, they could soon open the company, so Lin Che became busier. After returning, upon hearing that Gu Jingze was in the study, she secretly walked in. After seeing how Lin Che did not even knock the door before directly entering the private study, the servant noted down another point of how Lin Che did not follow rules. Lin Che naturally did not know. After she entered the room, she saw Gu Jingze tilted there, one hand supporting his chin, looking as if he fell asleep. Lin Che blinked and walked over. She looked down at Gu Jingze and realized she did not see it wrongly. Gu Jingze really felt asleep. She suddenly felt like it was hilarious, but she also felt sad and her heart ached. How tired must Gu Jingze be to just hold his cheeks and fall asleep? She walked over and took a closer look at Gu Jingze, who was asleep. A frown was still on his face. Official documents were spread out in front of Gu Jingze. His eyes droopy and his long eyelashes covered half the side of his eyes. The dark whorls drooping down made her feel a sense of tenderness towards him. It seemed like he was so tired that it drooped so low. Lin Che looked at his handsome face and thought that Gu Jingze usually shouldered too many responsibilities, suffered from too many burdens, and needed to worry about too many things. However, he was not a man of steel. He would also get tired. It was just that he would never show a single sign of exhaustion externally. Lin Che thought about how Gu Jingze never stopped and her heart ached even more. Perhaps they should find a place and rest together. Since her return, both of them never took a break. One incident after another made them forget about time. After thinking about it, it had been a long time since they properly went out. Lin Che scanned around and found Gu Jingze's clothes. She slowly walked over and was just about to place it on him. Suddenly, Gu Jingze, who was asleep just now, quickly grabbed her wrist with one hand. The next moment, Lin Che was pressed against the table. "Ah!" Lin Che yelled. Gu Jingze immediately reacted. His previously misty eyes became clear. Upon seeing Lin Che, he quickly reached out, pulled her up, and checked her out carefully. "How are you?" Lin Che rubbed her wrists and shook her head while looking at him. "I'm fine, I just wanted to cover you with some clothes." "What happened? Did you have a dream?" Gu Jingze just realized and discovered he actually fell asleep. Recently, he had been thinking and dealing with things at every moment. There were too many messy matters, which made him very tired. He sighed and breathed in deeply. He said, "Next time, don't come near me. You can call me from afar. I am afraid that I will hurt you if you stand so close, you understand?" Lin Che looked at him. "All right, you are a little too alert." Gu Jingze said, "This is my natural reaction after training. I cannot change this without some time." Once someone got near him, he would immediately move defensively as if it was subconscious, so he could not change it immediately. Upon hearing that, Lin Che's heart ached more. Outsiders would not know how Gu Jingze, who lived at the top of the pyramid, did not rest every day and only slept 6 hours. Every day, he tired himself out with a schedule so packed that everyone who saw it would be in shock. She said, "Gu Jingze, after I am done filming this movie, let's go out and play, alright?" Gu Jingze looked at her. "Why, do you have a place you want to go to?" "There isn't really a place I want to go, but I just want to go out and explore." "Ah, what is this?" Because he never hid things from her, he did not keep the files just now away. Just then, when Lin Che looked down, she saw a photograph she recognized. The person inside was none other than Han Chenggen's wife she saw that day in M Nation. Chapter 930. Let's go to M Nation for a holiday together. Lin Che looked in shock and raised her head in confusion. "What is this for?" Gu Jingze looked down. He had forgotten to keep it, so it was too late. Lin Che looked carefully. It was indeed that person. Seeing this face again still gave her special feelings. It felt familiar and strange. Gu Jingze looked at her. "Because I am still checking Han Chenggen, I also looked up on her." Lin Che curiously asked, "Ah, did you get any results?" "As of now, nothing at all. Is this person not related to my mother at all?" This, Gu Jingze pulled Lin Che over, made her sit on his legs, and looked at her. "Did you not see your mother get buried with your own eyes when she passed away? Why are you still so interested in a person that looks like your mother?" Lin Che shook her head. "I was still young then. Some people say that young children cannot look at corpses, so I just had one glance and did not get any closer." Gu Jingze looked at the side, deep in thought. Lin Che stared at him. "Did you think of something? Is there anything suspicious?" Gu Jingze looked at her and thought that there was no benefit in hiding it from her. He initially thought that he would only tell her after it was confirmed, but since she had already seen it and everything was so suspicious, he thought there was no way of directly hiding it from her. Gu Jingze hence looked at her and asked, "Lin Che, if this person is connected to your mother, what will you do?" Lin Che thought and looked at the front. "Connected, that depends on what kind of connection. If she is a relative of my mother, I think I will be quite happy, but my mother did not seem to have any sisters. I can't think of any others, but if there is a connection, of course, I hope to find the answer to how exactly they are connected. I also think that although there are people in the world that looks alike, such a likeness is rare unless they are really related by blood." Gu Jingze said, "If you really want to investigate, we can go M Nation again in the next few days." "Really?" Gu Jingze said, "Her identity is indeed full of suspicious points." He unrolled the thing in front of him to let her see. Because her identity is an unknown, a lot of people had never seen her before. Later, she got married to Han Chenggen somehow and they do not have a child after so many years. Thus, everyone thinks that her background is problematic. I took a look and every year, Han Chenggen's house imports a lot of medicine. Although it is of a wide variety, most of them are for women, so it is likely for her. If she is sick, then there should be hospital records. Despite this, not only was this the case after she got married to Han Chenggen, even before she got married to Han Chenggen, she had no hospital records at all. She did not even catch a cold, so her identity is indeed a little strange. Well, Gu Jingze said, didn't you say you want to take a break? We can take this chance to rest in M Nation. While resting there, we can investigate a little. Lin Che heard and thought it was a great idea. That is naturally good, but the Yun family is in M Nation. Will they? If the Yun family don't dare to do anything, we will be safe. If they dare to do something, we can also deal with the Yun family anyway. Lin Che hugged Gu Jingze. Okay, anyway, I will listen to you, but don't work every day once you've reached there. Even as a CEO, you need to know how to plan and put down your power. Don't do everything yourself. Isn't it tiring? Gu Jingze looked at her. Why, you can't bear to see me like that. Lin Che's breath mixed with his. She glanced at him and said, of course. I am your wife. If your body has a problem, it is also your own problem. You must remember that you still have me. If you tire yourself out, what do I do in the future? Gu Jingze laughed and lightly kissed her lips. You are right, I still have so many years. I need to save my body to torment you well for the second half of my life. While speaking, he reached out and pinched her waist. Ah, Lin Che was tickled and she uncontrollably made a noise. Idiot. Gu Jingze actually did not move anymore today. He would treasure his body because he did not want to burn everything out now. In the future, he could only see her but could not move, which would be torturous to him. After resting for a whole day, he arranged for a holiday in M Nation the very next day. He let the servants prepare the villa he prepared in M Nation. Afterward, he let them bring some new servants with them over to test their abilities. Upon hearing, the newcomers thought it was definitely Lin Che's idea to let Gu Jingze bring her out to play and stop working. After getting cozy with Gu Jingze last night, today he immediately said he was going on a holiday. The servants rightfully should not reveal any of their master's plans, but this new batch just arrived in the Gu household and thought that the Gu family and the entire family clan was connected, so they revealed this news to the family clan. The new servants said that Gu Jingze doted on Lin Che too much and listened to everything Lin Che said. Whatever Lin Che wanted, he would give her. She said she wanted to go out and play, so he immediately threw away his tasks and went out, so this was definitely not good for the Gu family. After thinking this sort of person would become the matriarch, they felt very helpless. Lin Che and Gu Jingze just went to M Nation like that. M Nation's seaside villa had good sunshine. As a southern nation, it was unlike C Nation. B City was very cold and here it was all tropical, so they could still wear short sleeves out now. After getting there, the couple first went to the villa. Because it was a holiday villa, all the facilities here were simpler. After Gu Jingze and Lin Che had tidied up, he first brought her to the shore to walk around. The seashore was very pretty, and the coastline was a lot cleaner than that of C Nation. This could not be helped. After all, C Nation had a huge population, so it was difficult to maintain a balance between the population and nature. There were a lot of tourists on the beach. A lot of them probably came from the north just to enjoy the sunshine and beach here. Both Lin Che and Gu Jingze did not bring their swimsuits and did not plan to swim here. They just slowly walked along the seashore while looking at the beauties in bikinis outside. Lin Che exclaimed, "The seaside is really a man's heaven. So many beauties." Gu Jingze took a glance. "Where are the beauties?" Lin Che said, "So many of them. Did you not see?" Gu Jingze said, "I didn't even see one." Lin Che turned back and said, "Gu Jingze, you are too good at making a woman happy. Nope, I think you should stop treating your illness." She nodded. "That way you can only make me happy. If not, with your sweet talk, whoever you sweet talk to will fall for you."